what happens if you don't manipulate so much, but if you just go into just very strong cinematic elements and you treat them with love and you just bet that something may happen. But at the beginning, I would say entrance to cinema was both through music and photography. And then when I saw cinema as a possibility, I was only 18 years old, but I thought it was a very natural synthesis of my interests at the time. When I was 18, I would spend just hours and hours just trying to find out and to learn more about the different composers and interpreters and conductors. At the same time, I was falling in love a lot, of course, as a teenager, not in very long-running relationships, but rather idealistic, I would say. And I ended up being actually very much into not only the opera itself, but this specific opera house, the Teatro Colón, where I spent so many important moments of my life. Ultimately, the reason I was making these films is because it was my ways of spending time with the people and places that I loved. I mean, the first films, my cousin, double bass player, who has a lot of close-ups in the film, by the process of rehearsals and live music. And of course, with my family, even further so, it was an excuse to spend time with them for half of my life at the time I shot it. This film began with this strange idea of combining Bartók's only opera with my niece, that in a way they seem to connect on a 1-to-1 ratio. Something about her ancient Eastern European look and her gestures with this incredible volcanic piece called Bluebeard's Castle. This film, in that sense, is a step towards something else, a world that doesn't need to completely exist, that we can also start to set up towards the camera, and also by not touching so much the camera, but rather working more with the actors and the elements. My previous films are much more like with the heart in your throat, like very intimate, very close, handheld. So this film for me is also about finding a certain distance and being able to experience on a totally different level, and again being much more aware of the formal aspects and not so much this, I find, more of a childish way of just spying onto people and feeling like something matters on its own and then you just go and spy it, but rather trying to, in a way, begin to imagine and create a world of its own, even though if it's very much based on real people and they're real members of their families or friends and the places they live, there's still a very, very strong tie to the real aspect, more of the documentary approach, which I have a hard time to split from. It's like an addiction. I mean, after you are close with these elements, it's hard to bite into certain artifices. I'm just not interested in neglecting, such as the intimacy of the actual shooting. The only people that are there for me, they should be people who just care and sort of have a feeling of what you're doing. And that's not something you can take for granted. I think actually love is really in the center of how I engage with the projects. But there must be, no? I mean, otherwise how could to sustain so much in a project?